Hello, I'm Dr. Eleanor. Today I want to talk about the full moon of June 14th. It's a pretty important cosmic time and likely to bring you new insights, depth of awareness, and also challenges in terms of emotional reactivity and the strong cosmic energy coming in. So let's get started. I'll share my noble energy map and the astrology, and I'll give you some insights as to what's happening on this June 14th new moon. I always like to start with the mandala of synthesis, as I call it. It shows you all of the components that I'm going to be looking at in a noble energy map. It includes many more facets and perspective than a flat astrological chart because I'm looking at a period of time. I'm also looking at all four worlds, the mental waking world, the physical biological world, the spiritual archetypal world, and the emotional angelic world. They all come together as an integrated whole. So we're going to look at all of that. To start with, we start looking back 3 months to see what the precursors of this new moon have been. And that would have put the sun in Pisces in March. Now we're in Gemini, and that immediately tells us that we're moving toward more clarity in communication, ideally, and a sense of movement toward responsibility and the details that will put things into perspective. The four worlds are shown in this image. As you can notice, and what's most important in looking at the four world matrices is to note that only the mental waking world and the physical biological world have solar plex centers. That means that emotions are most likely coming from your interactions day to day with people, with events, with cosmic energy. When you have experiences that challenge you, the energy is given a physiologic reaction. That reaction gets stuck in the cells. That is what makes for emotional reactivity. When you're emotionally reactive, you're not in the spiritual higher mind. That comes in when you take some beats and you wait and you think and feel what's going on within you. And you translate emotional reactivity into compassion and love for yourself, for the people around you, and for the cosmic tide that is impacting everyone on the planet. When you can move from emotional reactions to spiritual higher mind, your life gets much easier and things begin to fall into place. The tree of life delineates all of the paths of intelligence, and those are paths I work with extensively in the four worlds. The tree of life says that as we incarnate, we move into four worlds, the four worlds I just mentioned. And we must balance those in our day-to-day life if we want to move from reactive human beings into higher consciousness. This is the image of noble energy maps. As you can see, I work with 8 different charts, 4 that were prenatal and 4 that were postnatal. These charts that I was able to validate scientifically on 45,000 cases shows very clearly that one chart, one time frame is a very incomplete perspective on what's going on inside a person and what has impacted the energies that you're feeling on any particular day. So when we look at these 8 charts, there are some things that stand out immediately. For one thing, none of them singularly get a defined splenic center, the center of intuition, of inner knowing, and of inner alignment. But what does happen is 3 out of the 8 do have a solar plexus, and that solar plexus connects in those 3 designs to the root. So emotions are going to be activated. Now, when they're activated, they could influence how you feel, how you breathe, what you want to accomplish, and how stressed you might feel when things emotionally challenge you. Be aware that this is a new moon. A new moon is like a new beginning because the sun and the moon are together in the sky in connection to each other. So it's a time when you might want to start a new project. It's a time when you may be optimistic about your future. I want to encourage you to think big, to think outside the box. Notice that we have some activation in the Ajna Center, the higher mind. So use this time to go within, to center yourself, to be aware of emotional responses that may come up for you, and be very strategic in taking time for yourself without the influence of other people to know what is right for you, what you might want to start, what you might want to be creative about. What is especially important to note also is that the sacral center is activated on the 14th. You may have an insight, an awareness, an aha about what you want to do, how you want to be, and who you want to be with. Those are important considerations. And also pay attention because of the activated mind to thinking in new ways about what's going on with you, what you want to accomplish, what you love doing, and who you love being with. It's a good time to think about those things. When we come together in September, it's a manifesting generator day. And it is very interesting because all of the energy is going up the emotional side of the body map. And what that tells me is that this is a very critical new moon in terms of planning and planning how you're going to be grounded, how you're going to use your knowledge and your awareness of being a multidimensional being in keeping yourself in an energy alignment that is strategic for yourself. This is not about how other people want you to be. It's about how you can be for yourself. When we look at the astrology of this new moon, and I always do it from Mount Pleasant because that's where I live. And what's so interesting is that all of the planets are in the part of the wheel that have to do with self-reflection, creativity, what you do as work, and how you want to orient yourself for becoming more visible in the outside world once this time frame passes. So between now and September, be aware that you're being asked to go within yourself and to rebalance those things that may be triggers for you. It's pretty important to consider. Now, this is the Dwad, so this is the undercurrent of the astrological new moon. And what I'm seeing here is that how you orient yourself emotionally during this time frame is going to make a huge difference in the outcome over the next 3 months of how you feel about yourself, your self-esteem, and your resources. Take this time to be very strategic about your resources, how you spend your time, how you spend your money, who you spend your time with, and what you spend your time doing. Pay attention to your creative energy. And given that this new moon in Mount Pleasant is activating in the fifth house, now each location is going to give you a slightly different wheel. And so take in what I'm saying and take some time meditating, because what's most important for everyone is not the chart astrologically, but the noble energy map. Because what you can see from the noble energy map for this new moon is that a lot of what's going on is choice. Your choices about how you handle yourself, how you think about your project, what you want to accomplish. Pay attention to your breathing. I notice that in this spiritual dimension, the breath is very important. If you feel when you're with people that your breathing gets tight, take a moment, go inward, ask yourself if your emotional reactivity is pointing to stress coming from a superficial situation, what somebody said to you, what you have to do that day, and be aware that you have choice to transform your emotionality into spirituality, compassion and love, kindness for yourself in what you do, how you think, and who you're with, how you manage your energy, how you take time to go within. Meditation and breathing meditations are very useful on the 14th of June, because as you tune into what's going on with yourself, you can find the still place within where your intuition is activated, even though it's an open center. It's an open center because you're sensitive to what's going on. Use your sensitivity to be wise, to be thoughtful, and to be creative.